why Vice President Nyandeng did not travel to Kenya. Well, we have to look at the report. On Monday, Vice President Nyandeng did not travel to Kenya as planned. At first, report appeared on social media claiming that security personnel had stopped her from leaving at Juba airport, but her office has rejected those reports. Her office says the reason she did not travel was different. According to her officials, the Vice President had not received the required presidential authorization to travel outside the country. That explanation has attracted attention because it comes only a day after Nyandeng publicly questioned the political direction of South Sudan. She also asked an important question about who is currently providing oversight around President Salva Kiir. So today we will explain what happened, what her office said, what she said publicly, and why this story has become politically important. According to the information that we heard, Vice President Rebecca Nyandeng Damabir was expected to travel to Kenya for official engagement. Well, one of those engagements was a public lecture at Murang'a University of Technology. The university had announced that Nyandeng was expected to deliver the lecture on August 25. The university also had its 10th graduation ceremony scheduled for August 28. This means her planned visit was connected to official activities. However, the trip did not happen. According to her office, the reason was the absence of the required presidential authorization. David Nyandeng, the acting executive director in the office of the Vice President for the Gender and Youth Cluster, explained the situation. He said a travel request had been submitted to the office of the President on August 13, but by the time Nyandeng was supposed to travel, the required authorization had not been granted. As a result, she did not proceed with the trip. Her office said this is what happened. This is where the story became controversial. What about the airport report? A report began circulating on social media saying that Vice President Nyandeng had gone to Juba airport but had been stopped by security personnel. Her office strongly rejected that claim. According to her representative, the Vice President did not go ahead with the trip because he did not have the necessary clearance. In simple words, her office is saying she was not physically stopped at the airport. She did not travel because the required authorization was not available. That is an important difference. At this point, we should be careful with information circulating on social media. Social media can spread misinformation or can spread information very quickly, but speed does not always mean accuracy. A report can be shared 1,000 of times before anyone checks whether it is true. That is why it is important to separate confirmed information from claim. In this case, the office of the Vice President has provided its explanation. The office of the President was not immediately available for comment at the time of the report, so there are still questions that remain unanswered. Well, why does this story matter? At first, this may look like a simple travel issues. A government official needs permission to travel. The permission was not received, according to the information. But the timing makes the situation more politically sensitive. Why? Because only a few days before the travel controversy, Vice President Nyandeng publicly criticized criticized aspect of the country political direction. She raised question about leadership of the country. She also asked who is currently watching over President Salva Kiir. Her comment attracted public attention. Then shortly afterward, her planned international trip did not happen. That timing has naturally created discussion. However, it is important not to assume that the two events are connected unless there is clear evidence. We can discuss the timing, we can report what was said, but we should not present an unproven connection as fact. To understand why her comments are important, we need to understand her political background. Rebecca Nyandeng Damabior is a senior political figure in South Sudan. She is also the widow of the late Dr. John Garang Damabior. Dr. John Garang Damabior was one of the most important leaders in the history of the Sudan People Liberation Movement. He played a major role in the struggle that eventually led to South Sudan independence. Nyandeng therefore come from one of the country's most well-known political families. She also held a senior position in the government. She became vice president in 2020 as part of the implementation of the 2010 peace agreement. Her position is therefore important. When she speaks publicly about the country political situation, people pay attention. Her word can be interpreted as part of a wider political discussion. That is exactly what happened with her recent comment. During a requiem mass for veteran political Kosti Manibe, Nyandeng spoke about the country political situation. The event took place at All Saints Cathedral in Juba on Friday. During a remark, she raised questions about the current relationship between political leaders and President Salva Kiir Mayardit. She stated that there have been periods when she could go for as long as 2 years without meeting the president. She also referred to senior political figures from the past. She mentioned people such as Deng Alor, Elijah Malok, and Kosti Manibe. Her point was that in the past there were people around the leadership who were able to provide advice and oversight. She then asked a very direct question: who's watching over President Salva Kiir Mayardit now? That question immediately attracted attention. It is not a small question. It raises the issue of leadership, advice, accountability, and political responsibility. Well, why would a senior government official ask that question? This is one of the biggest questions surrounding a remark. First, Nyandeng is a part of the government. She is a vice president. So when she publicly asks who is providing oversight around the president, people naturally want to understand what she means. Is she saying that the president is not receiving enough advice? Is she saying that some senior political figures no longer have access to him? Is she worried about the direction of the government? Or is she simply comparing today's political environment with the past? Her exact meaning would need to be understood from her full speech and political context. But one thing is clear: her remark created a public discussion, and because she is a senior government official, the discussion became even more significant. Nyandeng did not only talk about the current leadership, she also spoke about South Sudan's story. She reminded people of the sacrifice made during the struggle for independence. But she also expressed concern about what South Sudanese people have done to themselves since independence. Her message was that some of the damage happening today is being caused by South Sudanese themselves. In other words, the country should not always blame outside enemies for its problem. Sometimes the biggest problem comes from within. This is a difficult message, but it is one that many people may recognize. Political division, community conflict, and corruption can damage a country even without an outside enemy. A country can destroy its own opportunity if its leader and citizens cannot work together. Nyandeng also spoke directly about young South Sudanese. She encouraged young people to speak up when they see wrongdoing. She said fear should not stop young people from defending their interests. This is an important message because young people are a major part of South Sudan's population. They are also among the people most affected by unemployment, insecurity, and political instability. Many young South Sudanese have grown up during years of conflict. Some have never experienced a long period of national peace. Others have had their education interrupted by war. Many are searching for jobs and opportunities. So when a senior leader talks, young people not to remain, when you tell young people not to remain silent, it is likely to attract attention. But speaking up must also be done responsibly. People should be able to criticize leaders peacefully. They should be able to ask questions. They should be able to demand accountability. But political disagreement should not become violent. That is one of the most important lessons from South Sudan. Important lesson South Sudan need to learn today. After Nyandeng command, the office of the president responded. The presidency defended President Salva Kiir's role in the liberation struggle. The statement emphasized that the struggle for independence was a collective effort. It did not directly name Nyandeng. However, it described President Kiir as a senior member of the liberation struggle and a long-standing comrade of Dr. John Garang. This response is important because it shows that Nyandeng remark had become part of a public political discussion. The presidency wanted to emphasize the historical role of President Kiir. It also pushed back against any suggestion that his role in the liberation struggle should be questioned or reduced. Again, this is a political discussion. Different people may have different opinion about the history of the liberation struggle, but what matters now is how those disagreements affect the country's current political environment. Well, if you are new to Changfied YouTube channel, I would like you to be channel by subscribing, turn on the notification bell, so whenever we upload a new video, you can be notified. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.